Rodeo. I'm excited to read the next chapter of Coyote Sunrise. Um, in the last chapter, chapter 11, we found out that um, Lester and Rodeo took off on the bus and left Coyote at the truck stop. She went in to get some corn nuts to get a snack, and they didn't see that she had gotten off the bus. So, without further ado, chapter 12. Some folks might think that a kid like me, living on the road and whatnot, would be unfazed by being left behind like that. Seeing as how gas stations and mini marts are pretty much my natural habitat, it might seem like I'd just shrug and roll my eyes and sit down to wait for the two idiots to figure it out and come back for me. Here's the problem with that theory, though. It ain't true. The fact of the matter is, as flaky as old Rodeo is, he'd never once come close to doing anything like that before, up until that moment when he and Lester left me behind in Gainesville, Florida. I hadn't been more than a couple 100 feet from Rodeo in 5 years. I hadn't hardly been out of his sight for longer than a bathroom break since I was 7 years old. So what I'm saying, basically, is that when I walked out and saw the bus gone, I wasn't like super calm about it. There were a couple of seconds of confused blinking, and then the freak out began. I sputtered and coughed, choking on the corn nuts in my mouth. My stomach somersaulted, and not in a fun roller coaster kind of way. My breathing got fast and shallow, and I dropped the bag of corn nuts and ran out to the sidewalk and looked both ways desperately. No bus in sight. I spun around and hopelessly scanned the parking lot again, like maybe I'd somehow missed an entire school bus the first time. I hadn't. Okay, I said, and my voice sounded so high and scared it actually kind of freaked me out a little bit. Oh, okay. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, God. I closed my eyes and made myself take a deep, long breath. I opened my eyes again. Still no bus. I went through it all in my head, how they'd seen me climb up into the bus, and then I slipped back off. How they'd both been distracted by their maps versus phone conversation. The curtain that blocked off my bedroom. They must have thought I was back there, reading or sleeping. Rodeo will figure it out, I said out loud, trying to make my voice sound calm and in control. Trying is the operative word there. I could hear the terrified tremor in my voice. He'll realize what's happened. He'll know exactly that I got left behind. They'll come straight back, and Rodeo will have the gas pedal pressed all the way to the floor. They'll come roaring up any minute. I nodded to myself, but my hands were shaking, and I felt like I was one bad swallow away from puking up my corn nuts. Because I knew that maybe it wouldn't be any minute. Rodeo was bone tired and probably wanted to lie down, and Lester was most likely focused on driving Jaeger. Rodeo had just filled up with gas after all, and sweet, fancy catfish, what it was like 12 hours before they'd realized they'd left me behind. Then it'd be 24 hours before they got back. Rodeo didn't have a phone. Lester did, but I didn't know his number. I was lost and alone, more lost and alone than I'd ever been, ever. And Rodeo, wherever he was up the road, was going to wake up, and I wasn't going to be there. Oh, Lord, I breathed. This is going to kill him. He's going to lose his ever-loving mind. My stomach knotted with worry. I looked around. No restaurants, no parks, no public libraries or nothing. Just a gas station all by itself next to the highway off-ramp. It wasn't even a nice gas station. There was one old car parked in the far corner of the parking lot, and it looked like someone was sitting in the driver's seat. Other than that, the whole scene was pretty dang desolate. The coming darkness that had been no big deal when I wasn't completely and totally alone suddenly seemed like kind of a pretty darn big deal after all. I swear, as I stood there, the last little bit of sunset purple turned to black. Gulped. I wasn't just alone and forgotten. I was alone and forgotten at night. One of the tears stinging in my eyes got heavy enough to drop, dripping warm onto my cheek. A pair of headlights pulled off the highway onto the exit ramp, coming my way. I was caught for a minute in the headlight glare as the car turned into the gas station, and I squinted, rubbing quick at my wet cheek. The car, a red SUV, rolled past me, and I saw the woman in the passenger seat look twice at me and crane her neck. Her brow furrowed, and her lips moved like she was saying something to the man driving. I suddenly realized how I must look, standing there sniffling by myself in the dark by the side of a highway. Kids alone at highway rest stops and gas stations attract attention from both dudes and overprotective, "Oh my God, is that girl okay, honey? We should call the police" types. I didn't like the look the lady had given me. She looked like the get involved type. I couldn't leave, though. This is where Rodeo will come looking for me, whenever he did. I needed to stay here, but I needed to stick out less, and quick. What do perfectly normal, happy, and not at all terrified, abandoned, or in danger whatsoever kids do at gas stations? They buy slushies, I said out loud, trying to work the shakes out of my voice and blink the wetness out of my eyes. I nodded to myself and then spun and marched back into the gas station, keeping my eyes straight ahead and casual, completely calm smile on my face as I walked past the SUV that was parked in front. The cashier shot me a curious look when I came back inside, but he was too busy petting his mustache to cause any problems. A kid I hadn't noticed before was browsing in the chip section, and he glanced at me as I walked past him. I made my way to the slushy machine in the back corner. It whirled loudly, churning one garish bright flavor. "You've got to be kidding me," I muttered, reaching the label. Wild watermelon. It was a no doubt about it rotten piece of luck for the universe to toss on top of my current heap of troubles, but I heard the door jangle open as the SUV woman walked in behind me, so I grabbed a cup anyway. I pulled the spigot and filled the cup with the frozen atrocity and turned around, and sure enough, there was the lady standing right behind me with a worried look on her face and a phone in her hand. Hello, dear," she said, her brow crinkled in concern and her voice careful, like I was a cornered deer she was trying not to spook. "Hi," I said, moving the siddle past her. She sifted quickly, though, just enough to stop me. I'm sorry, but is everything okay?" She was looking with wet, hungry eyes into my face, searching for clues. There's a couple ways to play this, and I went with bravado. "No," I answered. Her eyebrows shot up, and I saw her eyes glisten with excitement. She opened her mouth, but I barreled on, not giving her a chance to talk. "Climate change is wreaking havoc on our planet," I said. "The coral reefs are dying. Species are going extinct at a terrifying rate. Honeybee colonies are collapsing. And have you heard about the deforestation of the Amazon?" All those National Geographic magazines that Rodeo made me read were paying off. I shook my head and took a suck of my slushy, which tasted even worse than I had feared. "The world is a mess, ma'am. Everything is definitely not okay." The lady's eyebrows scrunched in confusion. I moved I moved to squeeze past her, but she moved again, plainly trying to block me now. No, 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 no. I mean, are you okay? Oh, me? I'm just peachy. Excuse me. She didn't bulge though. She didn't budge though. Where are your parents, dear? I gritted my teeth. She was more persistent than most. My dad's just up the road getting gas. He'll be back in a minute. The woman frowned. This is a gas station. Why didn't he just get gas here? Dang, the distracting flavor of chemical watermelon was throwing me off my game. 'Cause he's a bargain shopper. It's 5 cents a gallon cheaper at the next exit. Well, then why did he leave you here? I clenched my jaw, then held up my cup. For the slushy, I said. Her eyes narrowed. They don't have slushies at the next gas station? The woman wasn't letting go of the bone, and I was running out of lies. She clearly wasn't going to leave me alone, so I turned and headed the other way, toward the back of the store. I gotta go to the bathroom, I said. My armpits were hot and tingly. This was not going according to plan. The bathroom was a single occupant with a locking chain, thank goodness. I wouldn't have put it past that lady to follow me right in and wait outside the stall. I splashed some cold water on my face, then crept back to the door. Leaving the chain locked, I eased the door open and peeked through the crack. The lady was up at the counter, standing next to a beefy guy with a shaved head, who I assumed was her husband. She had her phone up to her ear, and I could just make out what she was saying. Yes, ma'am, all by herself, at night, and she's been crying. I don't know, maybe 12 or 13? No, ma'am, she gave me some story, but I can tell she's lying. Yes, ma'am, yes. I'll keep her here until the officers arrive. My heart thumped. I clicked the door closed and leaned my forehead against it. Son of a biscuit, I whispered. Police, generally speaking, were not big fans of rodeo and my lifestyle. Anytime cops started asking questions, they got suspicious real quick. They always seem to think it's some sort of kidnapping and I'm the victim or something. I'll admit Rodeo does kind of look the part of an unhinged criminal at times, but there's a real judging a book by its cover situation. Sometimes it took hours for the police to let us go, one at a time, in Denver. And in Denver, it took 2 days. A call from my grandma and a call to the sheriff in our old hometown before they finally believed Rodeo wasn't a child abductor and let us go. I didn't think the fact that Rodeo had abandoned me at night was going to be super helpful in us taking our way out of this one. I didn't have a couple days to waste this time either. The watermelon slushy, never all that soothing in the best of circumstances, turned to sour nausea in my stomach. I jumped back when there was a soft knock at the bathroom door. Not even a knocking, really. More like a fingertip drumming. Man, this lady wasn't giving up. Occupied, I said in my most don't mess with me voice. The knocking came again, even softer, like someone was trying to keep the knocking a secret. It didn't seem like the kind of knock the nosy lady would do. I turned the knob and opened the door a sliver. I didn't see anyone there until I looked down. It was the kid I'd seen earlier, but he was crouched down outside the door, looking up at me with big, serious brown eyes. "I can help you escape," he said. What is going to happen? What is she going to do? Guess we're going to find out in chapter 13. See you next time.